William purchased a table online in January this year. When it arrived, there was a huge crack down the middle. He contacted the trader, the seller of the table, but unfortunately they failed to respond, even though he sent numerous emails, made 2 telephone calls, even sent a letter. So he did the right thing. He made what's called a chargeback claim because he had made the purchase on his debit card. Now, unfortunately, his bank has now come back and said, sorry, William, you're out of time, claim rejected. William now asks me, is the bank correct? Before I answer the question, let me explain what chargeback is and when you can make a successful claim. Now, when you purchase goods or services using your debit or credit card, you potentially have the protection of the chargeback claim. Let me just quickly say this. With a credit card, you also can make what's called a Section 75 claim. I've made another video about that, and this video is purely about chargeback. Now, if you satisfy 3 things, you will potentially have a chargeback claim. The first is you must have gone to the trader, that's the entity or the person that sold you the goods or the services, and explained the problem, and therefore given them the opportunity to put it right. The second thing you must do is you must be able to show there has been some form of breach of contract, or in other words, something has gone wrong. So it may well be the goods have arrived, a bit like in William's case, and they're faulty. Or perhaps the goods haven't arrived at all. Or perhaps they sent you the wrong goods, and the list goes on. But you see, there must be something that went wrong. Something that you received that you shouldn't have done, or perhaps you didn't receive it. Also, another example of this is perhaps you bought tickets to an event and the event was cancelled. Again, if in those circumstances you didn't get your money back, potentially you'd have a chargeback claim if you used your debit or credit card. The third thing you must satisfy, and this is what catches most people out, is you must make the claim within time. There is a 120-day time limit with chargeback claims, and this catches many people out because it's not actually as straightforward as it sounds. Now, if you make the purchase and you receive the goods or services there and then, so you go into a shop, you buy a pair of shoes, and the shoes are handed over the counter and you take them away there and then, the 120 days starts immediately. However, if you buy goods online and they are delivered to you, the 120 days doesn't start, it doesn't commence until the goods arrive. Likewise, if you buy a service and that service is not performed until a later date, or perhaps you buy tickets to an event, the 120 days in those circumstances doesn't start until that service or that event takes place. Now, if you make a claim and it is unsuccessful and you believe that you did satisfy those 3 things, then your next step is to go to the Financial Ombudsman Service. It's a free service. It can take some time, but if you truly satisfied the 3 criterion that I've explained, then you should have a successful outcome. Quick word of warning. When you make a chargeback claim, the bank or the card provider makes an initial assessment as to whether it feels you have met the criterion. If you have, it will put the money back into your account and claw it out of the trader's account. But that's not the end of the road, because it will then go to the trader, the seller, and say to them, what happened? Did you breach the contract, or are you disputing this? They will then get the opportunity to put in a defense, their version of events. At that stage, your bank or card provider can decide that in fact it agrees with the trader. And if it does that, it may well claw the money back out of your accounts. So don't spend that money until you know the chargeback case has been closed. Now, if you find yourself in a situation where the bank effectively reverses its decision, ask it why. Ask it what evidence, what information it was given by the trader, and give them your added version of events, your response to the trader's response. And if at that stage the bank still says, no, we are reversing this decision, then again, you can go to the financial ombudsman. Now let's apply all of this to William's problem, because William had his claim denied. In his case, the bank was wrong. The bank was wrong because it calculated the 120 days from January when he made the purchase. But you'll remember, his table wasn't delivered until June. Therefore, what the bank should have done is it should have calculated the 120 days from June, and if it had have done that, it would have established that actually William was in time. William went back with this to the bank, and I'm pleased to say it has now reversed its own decision. It has accepted his chargeback claim, and he's got his money back.